Okay, now I walk into the roads that are less walked. Why do I feel like it? If you close down this video and check out my channel, you may find out that I made an hour-long video about Half-Life 2 only 4 days ago, even though YouTube states that it was 3 days ago. And nobody, I screenshotted, nobody watched it. Every one of my previous videos got at least 10 views or so, but this one went so bad, and yet I still decided to keep playing Half-Life games. Why? Why don't I do what reasonable men do and choose a more dogged game like Dark Souls or something? Like it goes, the first reason is quite simple. I do not claim to be a reasonable man, after all. Second one is the most true reason, of course, and that reason is that the game is that good. It was about 4 hours of gaming, yet it made me think a lot. By modern standards, this approach could be considered by community as lazy. Develop small DLC expansion, not even the game per se, and to make money. Just would take money for low effort content. But I believe, and I firmly believe in that the existence of this DLC, so to speak, is the reason of Half-Life success. What do I mean by that? Well, as I stated in the previous video, I have a big blessing as a gamer right now, and that is the gift of the both fresh and long-term memory about Half-Life. I have completed Half-Life 1 for the first time last December, and Half-Life 2 just last week. So my experience is the most raw ever. I'm going into for the first time, even though I have heard about the game, I have many friends who played the game. It's tough to live in a world where Half-Life exists and avoid Half-Life, especially since I played it. Even episode 1, I played before. I didn't understand what the hell is going on, so I dropped it like immediately, but I had orange box disc from some of my friends. Still. I have a blessing. I think my perspective right now is the most clear I can have on this matter, because when the years will go on and I will probably replay them, it will be a new experience for me. But right now is the first one, so I'll try to make it worth my while. I played plenty of games in my life, and I will play and complete many more. But these measly 4 hours left me with an impression. The quality of the experience is comparable to watching the Lord of the Rings movie in the director's cut version. And if you are a Lord of the Rings fan like I am, you know that I make such a bold claim, to have, the amount of nerdgasms that you have. Can Half-Life stand, near such a masterpiece? And I'm not even talking about the movie. I'm talking about the original book. The original novels. But this experience is worthwhile. Last two games. I don't count Half-Life 1 spin-off games, since I never had them. Last two games have turned one small yet amazing game into a franchise. They made the sequel that both could be considered an honorable continuation of Half-Life 1 ideas, and was something entirely new and authentic. It was a complete success in many ways, but now the Valve was releasing the Orange Box. It wasn't too new of an idea, but it was both reliable and fresh at the time. You pay a price for one really good game at the time. Even now, if you look on Steam, it has quite a reasonable price. And for one, disc, yeah, I'm not sure if there was only one disc. Maybe there were several. I don't remember particularly well. But for one copy, and you pay for like one game, you get Team Fortress 2, masterpiece. Half-Life 2, masterpiece. 2 episodes for Half-Life 2. So it is like the newest, freshest content imaginable. From the most anticipated story game of the last 4 years. Awesome. And Portal, the best puzzle game ever. Like, ever. I don't think there was anything better than that. Well, the second game, but still. So, for the price of one game that is perceived good by market, which doesn't necessarily means that it's actually good, you get 3 amazing games, pretty much legendary in their genres, and 2 significant story DLCs for one of them. That is the most loved of all of them. That is such a deal, I don't hear about those kind of bundles nowadays much. Only Steam could provide me that, and that is fascinating. That everything starts there and everything ends there. I firmly believe that it's thanks to the Orange Box and its amazing deal. Recently released Steam, at that time it was a couple of years old, got at first influx of regular users, and after that it only gone further and further and further. The release of Orange Box is one of the most significant moments in modern game history. When Orange Box was released, PC gaming was saved. But that is the topic for another day. After all, we can't talk about how Gabe is the god of PC gaming marketing. I can talk a lot about that, but not now. So, TF2, Portal 2, Half-Life 2. Everybody can agree on their significance. Portal games have extremely dedicated and fun speedrunning community. And even though Valve doesn't support TF2 much nowadays, their fan base is extremely loud and extremely cool. When Rick May, well, maybe you remember this story, when Rick May, the voice actor for Soldier, has died. Players have mourned him for months. For months. There was so many sweet videos made, so many songs played. People have all kinds of events on their servers, on even in the real life. For this person who is, whose significance for the game is, it's not questionable, but it is limited. I mean, he wasn't behind many creative decisions. He was only given his voice, but he did a really good job. And nowadays, all the other voice actors strive to connect more with the Team Fortress community, since they too have found out how cool that community really is. And Half-Life 2 don't need much introduction. If you want any, there is a video on my channel. But now, when two other mentioned titles are somewhat new, Half-Life 2 episodes were long awaited. Expectations were higher than ever after the big success and the revolution of Half-Life 2. So the question was raised, what comes after the revolution? I'm proud to say that Valve not only didn't disappoint in that regard, they did so much more than what was expected. At the start, they put you right back where you left off, on the moment of big significance, and they twist it right in front of your face. It is amazing. What do I mean by that? First game, it gives you a choice. Whether you follow a G-Man or you refuse and die. Second game does not. Why? Because of this game. Episode 1 starts from the moment of the rejection of the perceived ending of the second game. During the last game, the man pretty much stated, that you have no choice, and none was given to the player. Why is it different now compared to the Half-Life 1? As it always does, it was because we made friends along the way. Who would drive away the G-Man, and the forces that stand beside him. The Vortigons are so cool that they do not only save you, but Alex as well. Does Alex hold any special value to them, or they just extend the pleasantries towards Gordon's entourage? I think it is the former rather than the latter. That's how the beginning of it all goes. The universe establishes itself, so to speak. We know that everything that's happened, it's happened. And that is both good and scary. George Lucas said about his prequel trilogy quite a famous words. It's like a poetry. It rhymes. And of course he refers to, story decisions, how they repeat themselves. And in the case of both Half-Life 1 and Half-Life 2, it sure does. But episode 1 is cool because it both does it and spins it. Let me explain. As I said before, game rejects the the ending of the last game, and puts you strong with the HEV suit on, right where you should be, in the reactor chamber. Despite G-Man telling you that your purpose is to serve his interests, you still pursue your true purpose, being a chat physicist, reliable comrade, and a good man. So you rhyme, so to speak, not to the repetitions of the franchise, like you're a hero, key chess piece in the middle of the grand events, just waiting to be placed on the board, but a chess piece nonetheless. Now, you rhyme to the new ideas of the second game. And second game, as opposed to the first one, is the game about the revolution. During the game events, we somehow become critically important in it. But now, the good guys, Vortigons, pretty much put you off the leash. You can allow yourself to have some questions. Therefore, the story and the characters reflect that in that short 4-hour span of the game. It is marvelous. First of all, the first thing I need to cover is the big question of the game, and it's Alex. In the last game, she She was around, for the first half of the game, not really, but during the second game, she appeared more and more, and she showed herself really good. She charmed me really, really well. I have quite an opinion of her, but now, after episode 1, holy shit! During the last video, I praised her as a character. She is good. She's charismatic, pretty much never annoying, and both enthusiastic and smart. She's great. This game pretty much revolves around her, since Gordon can't talk. And I think that script writers were so happy that they finally have the opportunity to make her shine, to give her the complete form of a character. She keeps us company for the better part of our adventures, like 80% or so. And that is one hell of a good company. She is competent, she constantly manages to surprise you, and she feels authentic. Alex's looks, her looks, they're badass. If you look at her, you may see that her lip and eyebrow are bruised, and she has that a bit tired but Amazonian feel to her. So when the game just started, when she was having a call with her dad and Dr. Kleiner, I thought to myself, wait, can she become even better? Amazingly, yes. Yes. Throughout this DLC of a game, she shows you so many different emotions, so many cool reactions, that it is difficult not to fall for her, actually. She starts with determination to avoid Cataclysm in City 17, if possible, and save lives if there is a chance, and do best to survive Gordon, because she just found Gordon, and there is no question to her if Gordon is to be saved or not. Later, she shows even her softer side. When you get in the train car to leave the Citadel, she shows true compassion to the poor stalkers that are pierced to the walls. She reminisces that it is likely for them to be turned into monsters as an unfair punishment and nothing more. She seems to have personal story in that regard. Maybe it considers her mother. I don't know. But it is a somber moment. It feels nice. And then the car falls over, and she's stuck while the same stalker figure laying upon her, moving randomly and yelling something into her face. After you save her, you grab the guy, put him away, and put her out of the ruins of this train wreck. She takes a bit of time to collect herself, because that stress still gets to her. That is so good. In that scene, she shows both her weakness and her strength, and that is beautiful. She isn't whiny princess in distress, the common outdated trope, and she isn't Mary Sue, common trope of the modern media. Those adventures, they really do take a toll on her. She shows exhaustion, and then she flips it, while making unexpected corny joke about the zombies. It's like out of nowhere. When the tension in the game rises, she's always here to at least sort of releasing it. Somewhat helping to make things manageable, at least for some time. Such a sweet girl. My favorite moment with Alex was when, in a moment of silence, she just While climbing the ladder behind me, she just groaned like a zombie out of the blue. For no other reason, just to mess with Gordon, to get his attention. It is so sweet I could cry. I mean, come on. The game even lets us experience her sarcastic side when she laughs at you for falling through the air duct. Uh, she has so many faces, so many emotions, and all of that during the span of 4 hours. It is insane. I personally don't like to rely on NPCs in games much, especially in the older ones, but even in the mechanical sense, her NPC model is great. You don't mind her taking her sniper rifle and taking care of every little mutant that might harm you. No, 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 no. Because if you position yourself good, she takes them out reliably well and fast too. It is God. It is so cool. It is amazing. It is amazing. One of the best compadres you can have in these sort of games. But I don't want this video to be only about me simping on this good girl. Let's get back to the start of the episode. So, I mentioned that famous Half-Life formula was spinned, this spin is achieved through some different means. The first means is the order of the events. Game throws your blue gravity gun back at you right at the beginning and tells you to have fun with it. I imagine the Gabe or someone from the team was like, do you remember that blue gravity gun that everybody really liked, but you don't get to use for long? Yeah, that thing. Now, you start with it. Yeah, that's right. That's the start of the game. Go and have fun. Go and have fun. It's great. That's why it is episode 1, expansion, DLC. It gives you a certain experience. It has no need for reset and introduction of the characters from the start. Introduce mechanics. You don't need that. You don't need to check if the player knows how to swim before letting him loose near the lake. You don't need that. Half-Life 2 take care of that already. And it always goes on the same disc. The puzzles in the Citadel reactor aren't hard, but they kind of send a message whether intentional or not. After that, you see those memorable staples of good Half-Life 2 experience, but in reverse. You get on the train more than once. If you remember, both Half-Life 1 and Half-Life 2 started with the ride on the train. Railroads are a significant scenery in both games too. Both had many levels on this particular setting. This game, it doesn't start with the railroad, but it ends on it. Another cool thing that people like to mention about Half-Life games is the environmental storytelling. This game thrives on it. Previously, you can remember, like vending machines. These vending machines with best water only from Dr. Breen. They were at best used as a cover to get into secret hideout. But now it is kind of sad to see them lying around in complete ruins. The era has passed, and that is an era that you as a Gordon have completely missed. It is kind of sad, even though you can't feel nostalgic about it much. Uh, City is completely obliterated by war. And what is really cool that combines, our enemies from the previous games, they have suffered more than many. Many of them have fell to the simplest of headcrabs. The enemy who deals you, what, like 5 points of damage with an attack? Seriously? And yeah, even the characters like Dr. Klein and Eli Vance mentioned that Combine are in a bad spot right now. That is really cool. So, in the second game, when we meet people, we meet them at surprisingly best time price. Uh, you get what I mean, do you? If you played it. Every time you meet either named characters or unnamed NPCs, it's the best kind of context for you as a person at that moment because they can't translate your situation in any other way that is beneficial to you. As G Man said, put the right band at the wrong time and the results would be dope. And when we meet local humans in the previous games, they're either indifferent to us since they don't know us, or have heard good things about us, from Black Mesa staff. A lot of folks have been saved thanks to Gordon, and he was a good guy at work, simple guy, but a good guy nonetheless. And Vortigons, as I have mentioned before, you are somewhat a religious figure to them. They call you not as the Gordon Freeman, but as a free man. Um, they honor you real, real lot. And the reaction from people, since that was the only two channels, of information for simple folk at City 17 and the premises of it, their reaction was always simple and always understandable. So it was real easy for them to blend with background, not taking much attention from the other characters in the story. It was like, yeah, I am a member of Revolution. I never met the Gordon Freeman. I have only heard of him. Rumors are cool, I guess. But now that the revolution is going around, I'm going to suddenly tell him to take command of me, even though the man can't talk. Of course, I'm stretching it a bit, but if they could consider this as an option, that means that in their eyes, Dr. Gordon Freeman was put in a very respectable position. It is good. It is kind of cool. But now, after the ending of Half-Life 2, everything is different. Uh, the Vortigons, as I said, they took the leash out of their, out of our necks, out of the necks of the both Gordon and everyone around him. We don't wear, the weight of significant destiny no more. We don't have only a particular role to play. The only role Gordon can play is the role of himself. The world experiences exactly the same thing, the same shock as Gordon himself. Revolution happened, somewhat successfully even. The tyranny of combines was overthrown. The question on everybody's head is, including yours, is what's next? So, what previously was a part of a background, as I mentioned, that is the locals, they start to be discontent. They didn't have the voice before since they didn't need it or couldn't use it. But now they can and they do, and that is cool. They think that Dr. Kleiner, the voice on the screens, all over the City 17, people think he's an idiot, understandably so. And they think that Black Mesa, was the start of everything going bad. 10 years ago, some guy just said it was a nice neighborhood before. Uh, it is unimaginably cool. And let me explain what I mean by that. It's cool and refreshing, like an oasis, to be in the middle of the simultaneously a war zone and a zone of natural hazard. Like the reactor, it is going to blow. It's not a question of when. No. It's not a question on why. It is only a question of when. And people, the only group of people that we meet who has, the audacity not to run away but to sit in shock for a second. They express themselves as the local people, with their own prejudices, own little lives, and, their faults. That's good. That's good. People now, after the revolution happened and the war broke out, yeah, a lot of blood is being spilled, but, people can freely say their opinion. Nobody can stop them. And, that is a popular opinion no matter where you live. I know that at some point of your life you had a neighbor, some kind of neighbor at least, who had that kind of attitude, who said something like, that science stuff, don't get it, but it sure brought a lot of problems though. I may not agree with an opinion itself, but I enjoy the fact that this opinion exists because it always exists. No matter where you live, the skeptics will always be around us, and to be a skeptic is not always to be smart. To be a skeptic is just expressing your unhappiness, and these people, they don't get many reasons to be happy nowadays. So maybe after a long silence is having a voice. It is a really good experience for them. It is really interesting, actually. The most honest one. It enhances the previous experience for me. This scene in particular. When you think that in previous game nobody could talk like that since the oppression was that bad. The tyranny was everywhere. And now even the small voices can scream in pain if they wish to. Not many people know of such freedom. And that is impressive. Certain freedoms, are coming to humans at this situation. It is cool. You can truly believe that you, as a Gordon Freeman, made a difference in this world. Just by looking at their faces, at their emotions, at their whinings, it feels natural. You know, and natural reactions are so natural that the whinings just don't stop. People call out Dr. Kleiner for loving his pet head crab, like it is decadent behavior. At the same time, another person in the group claims that she tried them, uh, and they don't taste like crab. This is kind of funny, you know. But what is also important that during this time, even Alex struggles to stay silent. Her reaction is the most fascinating, actually. I don't remember if she was 22. She's young, you know. She's a young girl. Uh, and she starts to lament the world that just ended. She's nostalgic of the time Dr. Breen put jugglers on TV. Uh, have you ever watched the North Korea TV? You know, like the one where they have only 4 hours a day of mandatory watching by everybody. You know the format, pure propaganda and shit. I used to watch it just for the heck of it, and you mentioned jugglers and that. Holy hell! And she remembers this time with a smile. She even misses the combine, and the conflict with the combine is still ongoing. You know, she misses the stability of their rule because nobody likes war. You know, war is extremely fair to everybody. You know, so she laments her childhood innocence when she had her childhood innocence. You know, she just happened to have it during the tyrannical oppression of the aliens. God, that's cool. That is really impressive writing. I mean, it's not cool for her as a person. You know, nobody should experience that, but you know, it is cool that the writers didn't forget about that fact. You know, her nostalgia, she doesn't explain it, since it doesn't even needs to be explained. Uh, her I can't remember her exact words, but you know, she said some words that usually said by many young revolutionaries, and that is uh, somehow I thought that things would change for the better by now, and uncomfortable silence fell after that because, you know, thing that happened, you know, the fall of Citadel, it was so big that nobody could even comprehend. Not even the eggheads, you know, like Dr. Kleiner, can fully comprehend what is going on. And everybody just, you know, during the episode 1, everybody are in a state of complete chaos, anarchy, and war. And that feeling is really well, you know, conveyed by the game. You can meet other folk later during the episode 2, and even then, you know, simple folk express much more character than they did in the first two games. You can hear some really cool phrases like, to think I used to sell insurance. You know, when the girl is all covered in dirt, you know, patched up and having a gun in her head, you know, she says with such, small portion of sorrow, while someone else is adding, this war is not going to end. Nuh-uh. Fucking mood. The wacky nature and delivery of these lines by the actors deserve attention too. There was a time, like heavy shootout. I was alone with really plain looking middle-aged man in pajamas. You know the kind of Half-Life 2. Shooting stops. I reload. Silence falls. And this genius, out of nowhere, says, I don't dream anymore. And I just couldn't contain my fucking laughter. To die. I got shot at that moment because I couldn't crouch no more. To die while slapping my knee with the most goblin face imaginable. It was a joy, really. It was. I wasn't upset about dying at all at that moment. It was hilarious because, it is obvious, that developers did intend this phrase to be funny, but they just got even more than what they wished for, and that is cool. I wish, some moment like that ending could be a canonical ending to the whole Half-Life franchise, but I'm a little bit spoiled in that matter, it doesn't really matter what the developers think the best. We'll see. And Barney, of course, one of the bigger characters of the game. We rarely meet him, during these games, but he usually gives you a look of real bro. Even in this game, when he's dead tired, dead dirty, he waged war. Maybe he didn't sleep in the last couple of days, but during the events of the Half-Life 2 and this game, we learned that Gordon and Barney were good pals back in the day, and for 3 hours I switched to my crowbar to only get gravity gun, which it can serve some of the purposes of the crowbar, but crowbar, it is just good, it is too good. And here, just like before, it's Barney who gives you your signature tool. The moment he gives it to Gordon, it solidifies for me that the message that the game is trying to convey as a whole is that you are authentic, not because of some higher authorities giving you permission to do so, but because of true and honest experiences along our life's journey. And no G-Man can ever hope to I don't think it is possible for him, not because of his Reptiloid, but because of the position where he is in. It is impossible for him to experience Gordon's honesty, his honest friendship, even near closely to the way that Barney did, because Barney is a true pal and G-Man is not. Because of the nature of the relationship between G-Man and Gordon. Even if Gordon remained a slave and would have been used as an agent time and time again, Every Half-Life game is like the decade later, new alien species genocided. You know the deal. Even if that were the case, I know that G-Man could never hope to experience the taste of a fresh, the cold beer that you have with your mate. And I think Gordon and Barney value it really well, and that feels nice. While the crowbar was the first weapon you get in the previous games, now it is pretty much the last. The theme of experiencing Half-Life in reverse is kept. There are, of course, other nice things I can't help but notice, such as some sounds. There is that sample of working mechanism gets stuck, like okay, you know what I mean. You know that sound when you turn on some electrics or something of that kind in the games, both Half-Life 2 and Half-Life 2 Episode 1. I remember where I heard that sound before. It is the same as the sound of no mana in Hearthstone Battlegrounds or something. And I like noticing these things because when you start noticing, you can't help but notice them more and more and more. And you understand that many games use the same sound libraries. You kind of start looking at that from the new perspective, and it can give you pleasure. So learn more about the sound of the games that you play. That is my advice to you. But no game is perfect, and I have to critique it a bit. And the worst thing, or most annoying, even though it is clever in episode 1, is the feature of a flashlight. Flashlight is good, you know? It is bright, it shows a lot, and it is always with you, no matter where you are. As long as you wear HEV suit, you always have flashlight with you. But some ancient wise men decided that sprint, oxygen while you swim, and your flashlight share the same stamina bar. It is a little bit tiresome, don't you think? One stamina bar, it gives you plenty of time with the light. Of course it does. But when you need to do a lot of stamina actions, a lot of actions that require your stamina, sometimes at once, and the most reliable thing continuously fails you, it is fucking annoying. And there are many times when you have to play more conservatively because of that particular reason. It is rare. It happened to me only twice during all 3 games that I have completed. But it can happen when you just stop. Your stamina bar is completely drained. You are in a complete darkness. If you go further, you will aggro the enemies. If you go backwards, you may step into some traps or trigger some more enemies. And the best course of action for you is to stand still and wait for stamina bar to recharge. That is the worst experience in Half-Life, aside from when you are too dumb to understand the riddle that you're trying to solve. And that is the highest compliment that I can give to the game. It is amazing. When your only thing that irritates you is, the fly that's flying around. That is so good, and the developers, they really polished their games well. every and each of them. The attention to details is amazing. You know what's more amazing? That I had to download the patch to the game this morning. They still do the patches. And this patch was to the Linux users, of course, which doesn't concern me, but still, I like that developers put some thought in their games. And, it's not much, but it's an honest pleasure. And as I said, this flashlight thing, it is a small thing, but I hope that in Half-Life 3 they will fix that while maintaining the same level of excitement, feeling of choice on how to approach an encounter, because as I mentioned in the last game and this game it retained, you can straight up complete all the game just on gravity gun alone and you will be fine. There are rarely moments when you can't approach the situation with the gravity gun. Almost always you have some options with it. You either have some red barrels or mines lying around to throw them at the big enemies, or you have some junk around like bricks to throw at at little enemies. It is good. It is good. This freedom to approach the game is what makes it beautiful for me, because I know that I like to play my game one way, but in the middle of playthrough spice things up another way. I like to change things up. But I know that some of my friends like this way, and some of my friends are strictly enjoying different way. These people do not correlate with each other at all in terms of their tastes, but they both play the same Half-Life in peace, because Half-Life was made wisely. That is good. That is good. And it is the idea of the mechanic of flashlight. I know that since it worked so well, it would be hard to imagine a more delicate and engaging decision. Because I like using flashlight in these games. I'm really glad that I have it. And if Valve can do it while not making it tedious to use, of course, I think the Valve they are one of the only people that are capable of doing something like that. Having a really good game mechanic, but maybe a little bit outdated, and turn it into a great modern one. Something good, something fun. Like the Estus flask in Dark Souls, when the comfort meets the tempo of the game. You know what I mean. So, also I failed to notice the main feature of the episode 1, and that is the sprint function. Yeah, hilarious, of course. After 2 games, I've gotten so used to bunny hopping that it wasn't really needed per se, but it is a nice addition to the toolkit. If only me trying to catch a breath didn't take my flashlight battery, but you can't have everything. So, let's summarize everything. Even though this 4-hour game took so much of my attention, I gotta keep it fast. I really enjoyed episode 1 because of the context, the time when it was released, as I have said before, the orange box and everything. everything that happened. This game had incredibly high expectations forced upon her. And not only does the game meet them, it, ex- it exceeds them. It goes far beyond them. It is still a cool puzzle game. It is still an engaging FPS. But now the developers also made the perfect video game story condensed into 4 hours. Great, great, charismatic characters, most interesting world, so many mysteries like you wouldn't believe. Best company ever, and what I mean is like Alex, Dog, Barney, scientists. They're all so charming. It is a pleasure to have them as your company in these games. And the gameplay that is refined. Half-Life 2 was already, uh, you know, on the market for many years, so they polished the engine, they polished the mechanics, and they delivered the best possible levels, enemies, and puzzles that they could think of at the moment. I believe it is good. It is good. Thanks to the episode 1 alone, just on its own, in my eyes, Half-Life as a franchise transcends the level of renowned or reliable classic. It, it exceeds them to the legendary status. Thanks to these 4 hours, I am certain that Half-Life is a masterpiece, and I sincerely love it from the bottom of my heart. If Half-Life 3 comes out on the same engine as Half-Life 2, but would be just a set of new maps and weapons while keeping the tempo of story consistent, I am sure that many, not all of them of course, but many of the old school fans wouldn't care at all. They would just, finally, let's get this over with. And they will run this game into the ground to, speed run it into the limit. It would be amazing, beautiful. But since I have the opportunity, of course, I claim to join the others who patiently, for many years, so many years, wait for the third game in this series. Uh, now, now, after this game, I think I know that there is a best way to release it for Valve as a company. And that is Orange Box 2, baby! Or some other creative extension of the previously magnificent idea. If Half-Life 3 will be released with, let's say, Team Fortress 3, Deadlock, last I checked, it's a game, it exists. Left 4 Dead 3, Portal 3, all of them are highly anticipated titles, and I think Valve has the resources to make them shine again. No matter which of them exactly, but I mean the idea of a pack, of the pack of releases from Valve. And this new pack, this new box, is bound to be successful. Of course, it will be successful because of the market move alone. Everybody likes the good deal, and any of the old gamers will just keep on buying it, and the new gamers will think, why the hell? Everybody's buying it now, I will buy it too. It is a low risk business move, and I think Gabe Newell knows it. If event of that kind were to happen, the history of PC gaming will change once again. But the release of Half-Life 3 will stir up a lot of people anyway, so I will be glad to experience it while it will be ready. For now, I will rest. The next time we will speak of episode 2. If it will be as good as episode 1, then Half-Life 2 could be a strong contender for a game of the decade for me. And this is the decade of my childhood, of course, the 2000s, There were a lot of really good games back then. Of course, we'll stream the game as usual on my Twitch. The link is in the description, blah, blah, blah. But I'm not sure when, since I don't know when I will be in the mode. But I'm sure it will happen soon. So you can just check out if you want. And the sponsor of this video is my Telegram channel. The link is somewhere here. You can see the link on the video itself or in the description. I post memes, music, other garbage like my opinions. It's all there, So if you're bored, you can check that out. See you.